Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today's our first review for Incel Cinema Month, where we're going to review 8 movies with Incel protagonists or antagonists. Like with one of our movies that we're going to review, 10 to Midnight, where the serial killer is an incel incel going around killing attractive women who shut him down. But today we're reviewing the classic Drive, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn. Came out 2011, starring Ryan Gosling, Bryan Cranston, Ron Perlman, Albert Brooks, Carey Mulligan, Christina Hendricks, and Oscar Isaacs. My bad. Yeah, so I had no idea at the time. Oh, we have to talk about the amazing soundtrack by Clint Martinez, right? Though my favorite songs in the soundtrack are the unoriginal songs like Night Call, A Real Hero. What was the other one? What was the one by Desire? Under Your Spell. That's it. Yeah. So this is based off a book by James Salas, which is like a crime novel author who's only says here he's only. Oh wait, there's been apparently 3 movies based off his books: Drive, Detective's Lover, and there's supposed to be a Drive 2. That can't be real. Huh. So apparently there might be a sequel to Drive according to Wikipedia. So I'm not gonna hold my breath. So this movie is probably one of my favorite movies to come out in the last decade. I recorded a podcast which I've been too lazy to edit, where I talk about my favorite top 10 movies of the last decade, and Drive was on the list. I'm not gonna say how high it was on the list because I plan on editing it sometime this week and putting it on the channel. But yeah, it was pretty up there. When this movie came out, I had no idea that the reason I loved the movie so much was because I was an incel at the time. Because it's just like the movie. It has this. Not only does it have the amazing soundtrack, but you had like the amazing visuals, right? And the really cool, but a little bit artistic main character. And then, like, just everything about the movie was magic. What? So the story from the movie is you have our main character who's called the Driver. I don't even think they ever gave him a name. People just call him Kid or Driver. Yeah, Ryan Gosling plays this wheelman who has like a couple jobs where he's either a mechanic or a stuntman. But one of his jobs is he drives for criminals, right? And they have 5 minutes. He doesn't hold a gun. He doesn't wait up for you. All he does is drive. You got 5 minutes to get in the car, or you're on your own, right? So what ends up happening is he befriends this single mother, played by Carey Mulligan, who has like young son. Her husband is in prison. They start to grow this relationship, right? After her car breaks down and he takes it to the mechanic that he works at, right? Which is where his boss is Bryan Cranston, who's this kind of scumbaggy, like cheap dude who like takes advantage of our main character. And he has this history of being greedy. Like he tried to rip off this Jewish mobster played by Ron Perlman, who's called Nino, right? And because of that, they broke his hip, which is why he has like this harness in the movie. So what ends up happening is that while like Ryan Gosling is developing this relationship with this girl. Her husband comes out of prison, and then there's this nice party that they have where they play the best song in the movie, "Under Your Spell," which is one of my favorite songs. Every time I hear it, I think about the girl that I had a crush on that year, because that was like my song that I would always think of her about. Oh, dude, like this, man, it's hard to believe this movie is 10 years old. Like, I would, literally, whenever I would drive at night, I also had the soundtrack, the physical soundtrack on CD, which I still own, where I would drive around, listening to Night Call as I'm like, hanging out with my friends and shit. Oh man, those were the days. Not the part, not the incel being an incel part, but like being the, just the, I had hopes for the future back then. Now not so much, because everything, the 2020s is a pretty shitty decade so far. And it's probably going to get worse. Yeah, her husband comes back from jail. He gets like extorted to go on this heist to rob pawn shop. He offers to help, and it turns out the deal was a setup. They take the money, and like they take the money. Standard, who's played by Oscar Isaac, gets shot and killed. There was a second car waiting to rob them as they came out with the money. The driver gets away. Turns out it was the people that they were working for who are trying to kill him. And then he finds out, hey, the people that was extorting Standard works for Nino, who's the Jewish mobster that also is a partner with Albert Brooks, who does he play again? Bernie, right? Who's friends and a business associate of Bryan Cranston's character. Who snitches on Driver and about the girl, about the money, about everything. So like, our main character is now at war with the Jewish mob, and I don't want to get on like any more spoilers than that. So like I said, you have beautiful cinematography, beautiful music, you have some great action scenes. Though, because this was a Hollywood movie, Nicolas Winding Refn was forced to actually do real action scenes, because if you watch his other movies and listen to his commentary, he doesn't like doing action movies. He just likes the ultra violent part. Like, the action scenes themselves, he doesn't like so much. Yeah. So that's the one thing that sucks about Nicolas Winding Refn, where like I'm going to go into like spoilers, so I'm going to just give my rating. It's a 9 out of 10. Okay, now I'm going to get into spoilers, but yeah, it's 9 out of 10. So one thing I hate about Nicolas Winding Refn is that, besides from the fact that he doesn't like to shoot action scenes, but he loves to have badass protagonists in like a lot of his movies, like Valhalla Rising, Drive, Only God Forgives. Haven't seen any of his other movies, like Pusher. I'm going to review Pusher for In Some Months, but yeah, I haven't completely seen it. But like, here's the problem with Nicolas Winding Refn, is that it's the Silent Hill problem, where like, and if you didn't know about the Silent Hill, they all the Silent Hill games end the same, and so does Nicolas Winding Refn, where all of his movies, the protagonist dies at the end. He likes to have movies where, like, Ryan Gosling said this best in an interview, where like his movies are all about doomed stars. Like, they're protagonists who are destined to die at the end, sounds cool, but it's like when you know a protagonist is going to die in the end of the movie, like in this movie, it works. Well, you don't know if he dies for sure, but you know, but like a lot of his other movies that I've seen, like they all pretty much die, and it's just kind of annoying when you know a character is gonna die. Yeah. Fun facts about the movie. There's a head stomping scene, and apparently Nicolas Winding Refn went to the director of Irreversible, which is like a French art house movie where like a character gets a character head stomps another character, and he went to that director to ask him, hey, how do you do a head stomping scene? Which is obviously you do a quick cut and you replace the actor's head with like a prop. It's like, which is what they did in this movie, and what they obviously did if Irreversible, if you ever seen that movie. Which I don't know if I would recommend Irreversible, especially my friend tricked me into seeing it. He told me like there's this really sexy scene in the movie where the character goes into like this like S&M sex club, and like all these characters are having sex, right? And like it's like not even like, it's like straight up people are having sex, or at least it looks like that. What he didn't tell me, it was a gay S&M sex club. So I'm watching the movie, and it's just, you just have guys like fucking each other, blowing each other. Like our Vincent Castle's like trying to get past this hall, trying to ignore all the fucking homosexuals, and this guy's just jerking off, blocking his path. He's like, suck me. He's like, like Vincent Castle just throws his hands into the air, and it's like, I don't want to suck you, bro. Oh, that was a fucking funny scene. But like, yeah, that movie is fucking weird. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, this is an amazing movie. I love it. I kind of get why incels love this movie, because you have like this protagonist that doesn't get who's kind of autistic and doesn't get the girl at the end. Yeah, so, but that kiss in the elevator scene was beautiful, and to like just in the same scene have our protagonist kiss a girl and then beats the shit out of a guy, and then like curbs, like heads, like stomps his head in, his skull in. Holy fuck, that was a fucking amazing scene. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for this review. Our next how Incel Cinema Month is gonna work is I'm gonna post the movie reviews on Mondays and Fridays. I was supposed to post this review yesterday, but I didn't have time. But yeah, so our next review is gonna be on Friday. It's going to be either Last American Version or 10 to Midnight. Alright, guys. Peace.